Hi, I'm Bill Lancaster, and I'm going to be your host for this video on coring. And I've got here the one-way coring system. I'm going to show it to you. There are two coring systems that I know of, two main ones. There's the one-way, and there's the McNaughton. The one-way will cut a specific curve, always the same curve, but you know what you're going to get, and it comes with a 9-inch blade, an 11-inch blade, and a 13-inch blade. I have the 9 and the 11. The McNaughton system comes with a lot more knives, blades, and it's more creative, but it takes a bigger learning curve, so you've got to really know what you're doing with that. What you get with the one-way is the base, which is this. And you need to get the base that's specific for your lathe. So it's specific both for the height of the spindle, which is called the swing, and for the width of the ways. So you have to have those two things that are specific for it. And then you get, with the base, you get a cutting blade like this. And you've got to adjust this bolt on the bottom so that the cutting blade comes out right to the center of your spindle or your chuck. So this thing swings, it's going to make the cut. And then you have this supporting device which is going to support this blade so that the blade doesn't get bent. You don't want to bend this blade. It's an expensive proposition. So this is going to follow the, I haven't got it quite set right. It's going to follow the cutter in to make it, to give it support. Now I've done a little preliminary work on this thing, so I've got a couple of marks here on my lathe bed. If you can see them, if I set this thing up, I know right now because I already tried this, on that line and on this line and that line, and tighten the bolt, I know that when I swing the blade in, it's going to come within about 5/8 of an inch of the bottom. So I've got this thing set, so it's going to come at a pretty good spot for me. I've got on the bottom of my bowl, I've got a recess or a mortise, and so I've got to take that into account, and I want to have a little bit of extra. Remember, you can always take it off, you can't put it back on. So I've got this thing where it'll swing. I've got this thing set, and I'm going to move this thing so that it will support that. I'm going to get this thing out of the way so I don't cut myself on this very, very sharp cutter head. You can get these jigs to cut to sharpen the cutter heads. It's got a device in it that will let you set the angle of the wheel, and then you have this device that lets you mount the cutter head and then put it on the platform of your sharpening wheel to make it all do right. It doesn't take a lot of sharpening. You just need to kind of hone these things. So I want to keep this out of the way so I don't catch myself on it. Also, you have a handle. I got a fancy handle. You don't have to have a fancy handle. You can have a wooden handle. I made one. I've used it for years. This is actually the first time I have used this fancy handle. I had some extra money for a birthday or something, and so I got that. So I'm going to get that out of the way so I don't want to catch anything on it, namely my skin. And then I'm going to mount my bowl. This is the same cherry bowl that I used in the last video, which I did on bowl design. So I'm doing this has a recess on the bottom antenna, so I'm turning this backward to tighten it. Whoops, wrong way. That's the way. Like this. And you push on the center. Make sure it's doing right. Tighten all 4 sockets. There are only 2, but as I've said before, you do them twice. Make sure they're good and tight. And I'm going to spin this at one time just to make sure that it's doing okay. Turn the lathe down to 0. Turn it on. Begin to turn up the speed. Let's see how it's doing. Oh, very beautifully. spinning, very nice. I'm going to run this, 400 or so, and I've covered up the digital readout on my RPMs because I had seen a video on YouTube saying do that, and you kind of learn how to do this by feel, so I'm doing that. Now, stop it. You're going to see where this cutter is going to enter the bowl right there, and we know where it's going to end. It's going to end back here about 5/8 of an inch above the bottom. So that's going to be my bowl that I'm going to carve out of this thing. Now I need to adjust this so that it supports the blade as it goes in. And I'm going to turn this as we go in. I'm going to turn this support to just track underneath this blade. I'm going to get this as close as I can to the wood. There it is right there, and I tighten this up. This is a very sturdy system. I like it. Just very little room for, it's kind of foolproof, as they say. Now, the two other things about this I'm going to be doing. One is I'm going to be blowing out the chips with the air pressure, and I'm going to be squirting in some water. This is just water with a little bit of a drop of Dawn detergent in it, just to make sure that it has a good wetting agent in there. So I'll be shooting that in there to keep the blade cool. I want to double check my bolts to make sure they're good and tight. I don't want anything moving on me. Good. This I'm going to be moving anyway to fit things. Double check. Good. This cutter head has a tip on it, and it has shoulders. So the shoulders are really going to be the width of the cut. And that looks like it's going to be pretty good. Now I'm going to put on my face shield. So I'm not sure you're going to be able to hear me very well. I'm going to do this thing, and you're going to just have to watch it to see how it does. It's going to be taking it inch by inch. So I'm going to run the cutter in until I've got the whole cutter head in. Then I'm going to move this thing in behind it. I'm going to go in 1 inch at a time. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 inches. When I get around to this handle will be parallel. I know I've got about 1.5 inches to go. When it gets a little bit beyond parallel, I'm getting very close. At that point, I may pop out the cord bowl. You'll see that. Okay, let's see if we get this thing going. I think everything is okay. Put the face shield on. I'm probably going to turn on the dust collector. It's going to be noisy, but this thing is dry. This cherry's dry. It's going to throw out a lot of chips and sawdust. So I'm probably going to keep the dust collector on just to and I may put my mask on. Anyway, I'm not sure you're going to be able to hear me. We'll see what's going to happen. Ready? Here we go. Now I'm into the depth of the cutter head, so I'm going to move the support system in behind it. Okay, now we're going to try this with the support system in place. And I don't think I've quite got it in the right spot. Let's try that. I want that thing to go all the way to the bottom of the groove if I can get it. There we go. Better. Okay. Let's try that. All right, let's try this. All right. Good. Put a little water in there. You'll notice I'm standing out of the line of fire. The line of fire is where this thing is spinning, and if it comes off, it's going to go this kind of line. I'm standing over here, so that if it comes loose, I won't be standing right in front of it. Okay, now we're going to move the support system in a bit more. I've gone in an inch right to that little mark. I've got it marked on the cutter side. Now let's get this thing moved in. You're seeing the whole thing, folks. Get that thing moved right in there where it can support the cutter. Good. Tighten it up. Good. All right, here we go. Next round. And we're going to go into this next inch mark. Okay. Now, I'm going to move it in again. I turn off the dust collector. The dust collector wasn't doing any good. All the dust was coming at me and not over that way, so I just took it all out. And let's get this thing adjusted again. Put it right in there as far as it'll go. I want to go to the bottom of the groove like that. And I want this to stay right in line with it. Good. Tighten the bolt. Okay. Double check all the good. All right, now I'm going to go right down into there. I need to go at this inch mark right there. The water helps keep the dust down, I'll have to say that. Okay, going to move it in again. As I said, you keep moving this support system in because you do not want to bend these blades. They're just expensive and you don't want them bent. So keep moving it in. Get it as deep as it'll go. A bit to the bottom of that groove. Well, I got it a little too deep. It won't turn better. Okay, let's check. So I'm into there. I need to go into there. Be another inch, and then we'll see where we are. Now we're into this mark right here, which is about the 4-inch mark. So we're getting close to being. So we are parallel now to the face of the bowl, perpendicular to the waves. So we don't have very far to go. I'm just going to take it a little bit farther, and then we're going to pop it with a dead blow hammer to get it out. You can let these things go until they fall out on their own, but and they won't do any damage. I haven't had any problem with them standing out of the line of fire. You can bring the live center, the tail stock up at this point, because it'll go across the top of this if you want to. It's just a little added safety feature, but it's not necessary. Now, what do I need to do? I need to go in deeper. I think I'm about at the limits of where I can get the support system in without touching the wood. But let's try to get it. That's touching the wood. So back it up a little bit. That's about as far as I can go. Let's see what we can do with this. Tighten it. Okay. Last cutting. I hear it rattling around, so I'm going to stop it there and have a look at what we've got. Let me blow it out good. So there you have it. Turn off the air compressor. So you see what we've done here. The cutter head has gone right in there to that point. Then we popped it loose. And the support system is right in there behind it. And it's all nice and wet. And I'll show you the piece we've cored out. Let me just get it off the floor where it landed. Ah. And this is the cored out bowl. It's a little, as you see, it's kind of shallow, and I expected that because we had a kind of an odd shape to this bigger bowl, but that's the curve you'll get with the one way, and it's pretty smooth. What I'll do now is I've got a tenon on this side. I'll put this in a chuck. I'll cut a tenon here and mount this in the lathe, and I can smooth it up, and then I can core out the inside of it. But there you have it, folks. That's kind of the way this coring system works. That was a successful coring, I'd say, and so I appreciate your watching, and that's all for now. Bye.